We're back after 2 weeks. My blind playthrough, unedited playthrough of Disco Elysium. Do I got the volume on the right one? Am I gonna have the right levels of communism? I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. Very much so. Okay. Oh, it told me how to pronounce Glacier. I've been muttering it the whole time. Okay. There could be LGBT happenings or very spooky happenings. The communism, I did say. That's what I have left to do in here. I mean, I think since I'm in front of the spooky man, scary man, I think
The Coppernato is back.
I think I'm gonna let him speak to me that way. You're saying it's such an early Tuesday stream. Okay, I saw this option last time. I don't think there was that much in here.
What?
Okay, I'll stop bothering you, sir. I'll stop bothering you. No, I'm going. Just bothered you for nothing. So, there's Kai saying also I'm doing my homework and it's due in 3 minutes. Okay, guys, wait, get out of here. Aha! Okay, there's... I actually have homework due in, how many hours? 3 hours. Time zones for you, baby. Everyone on the East Coast goes to a West Coast school if you can online. Then you'll just be up until 3 a.m. Okay, I can't recommend that. But hey, everyone, I was traveling the other day. Okay, where do I want to travel? I'm going to communism, and in the sleet and snow, we're making this old man run again. I have been on the East Coast for my West Coast deadlines sometimes. Wow, how is my audio levels? Is the sea, is her beautiful voice as loud as mine? Or just a bit loud in my ear? Yeah, just a bit. Alright. So the Communism Club, we go on up the steps. And there's Lexi saying, what happened to your character? Why does he look like that? Oh, right, I'm just swagged out. Has it been a moment since you've seen the glorious hat? Okay, I mean, I lost my favorite hat. It was a detective's hat. And now we have the bum cap. I mean, I don't think there's any particular stats I would want to go over yet. We're wearing a pinball maker's code. It's every article of clothing has potentially a story behind it. And it all happens to just fit him, whatever he finds. Well, alright, we go up to the balcony, and I have still some kind of a tension in my shoulder. There's guys saying, turn this AR into actual art is satisfying to ink, but I still can't cut drawing the homework! The homework! Kai, giving anxiety. Matching arcade. He's saying some kind of sleeper catchphrase for me, is that what it is? Meaty abs. You know what weakens me. There's...
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
I think since there's nothing new in the dialogue options, we literally did come to admire your mural. That's all that she wrote. I think it is the right time for the Communism Club, I think. This guy's saying, should I just do it tomorrow, chat? I got freaked out because, well, I mean, in a few minutes it is gonna be tomorrow, so there's not much of a choice, but like in the sleep way, I keep getting the homeworks that lock you out after that. Ooh, they are here. I haven't tried to go into this room before the hours of Communism Club start, actually. And I did read part of the book. I think that's like saying society doesn't allow me to have that swag. They would make fun of me, project their insecurities onto me. The drama indeed. And then there's Zero Makifa saying, I'm here, queer, my tummy hurts. Yeah. Whoa, solidarity to Zero Makifa. Here we are trying to talk to a communist to see what the deal is. The only class he cares about is the working class. Well, Kai, that might be a hint on when to do your homework. There's Saku taking a job. a compliment on the war paint. Thank you. And engrossed in the game. Is he sunken into the couch? No, his pants are just the same color as it. Okay, locking into the game. We can point to the art supplies and say, I'm guessing all this art stuff belongs to Cindy. Sure, I mean, we could chat about it, unless you two do art.
Yeah, it's hers. She just sort of moved it all in a few months ago.
And you're too much of a pushover to say something to her, or you just love her. You know, you're a squadron, your comrades.
She said if she's going to make truly radical art, she needs a suitably radical workspace.
I couldn't get more radicaler in here, but yes.
And I don't think she could afford rent at an actual studio.
This is also an excellent point. Well, do you guys like her art?
Oh, sure. It's definitely interesting, I would say.
That's the tone of someone who's about to be judgmental.
I guess you could call her latest stuff a sort of counter-bourgeoisie calligraphy. She's got a real taste for radical slogans.
Well, that's the kind of person you need in your aimless, fragmented movement, isn't it?
It's too bad she hasn't developed the theoretical foundation to do truly radical work.
I don't know. I kind of trust her more to make more of a radical difference. Echo Maker.
I think she'll get there, though. She's still looking for a subject equal to her ambitions.
That's always really exciting to hear from an artist, or about an artist, looking for a subject that equals the ambition. Well, what's the deal with this place?
The deal? At a fundamental level, I guess you could call it the shattered bones of a dream crushed by capital.
I call a lot of things the shattered bones of a dream crushed by capital.
That's really good, Steban. You should save that for an essay.
Because it's good phrasing. It is good phrasing.
Thanks, Uli. When the idea is sound, the words just sort of flow.
It is kind of funny to be reminded, of the name Uli existing, that the characters do have a name despite, your brain as the main character naming them. I heard these used to be luxury apartments, million real views, that sort of thing.
That could be. It would explain some of the more ornate detailing. But we're speaking in world historical terms here. What this place represents, not what it merely was.
Oh yeah, no, I got that. But there's the full context, Stepan the student communist.
His friend yawns, evidently bored by literal reality.
Both of you do drugs right now. I'm not doing any, but I just think you should... Okay, let's move on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so... I think I was ready to talk about inframaterialism. I think there was a little bit left. Maybe. Would I be able to tell if there was a little bit left? Okay, check the chat for a moment. There's a thing. I think you read the whole book. There should be dialogue. Kai saying I was born to figure out The Sims and watch anime, not to do home of the work. It always feels that way, doesn't it? Always feels that way. There's Miki was saying women not cool, especially if she's hot, not so cold. Be warmed. Be warmed on the abs of women. Bring back the Soviet Union. You can't unconjoin a Soviet like that, communism. Hey now. That's kind of Russian. Get your game on. Go play. Oh my god. There's Hijinks Arcade saying, interesting is the word when you don't have an opinion, but at least he follows it up with something, and Cindy is cool and like an actual radical communist who wants to make a difference actively, and literal reality is boring. So, okay, this dialogue option is here, and we're about to crack open your guys' little brains like an oyster shell, and then we're gonna get all up in there. What do you do with an oyster shell? With tongue? Well, we're gonna talk about inframaterialism.
Yes. Let's get right to it.
Ooh, did some background noise stop for that one?
His companion leans forward, ready to jump in.
Incorporate some athleticism. Jump right in.
They're impressed that you dove right into the most advanced parts of the theory. Half an hour evaporates, and the conversation is still wending its way toward new and unexpected places.
That's fascinating. Every single time, I'm so sorry that I'm keeping Kim on the clock. Like being past regular work hours, it's good for how we ended off the previous episode. Mentally ill event, needing help within the community. This one, though, this one, though.
A cool breeze coming off the bay wraps itself around the Capeside apartments in a nearly forgotten part of that glorified construction site, surrounded by rusted pieces of scaffolding and walls of faded tarpaulin. A detective of the RCM debates the intricacies of an abstruse theory with a pair of university students.
Abstruse. Wow. I'll look at my own timestamp, 10 minutes, so I can look that up later. We can go into, but I'm still trying to figure out how the Pale fits into all this. Well, they're bored with literal reality, but how literal is the Pale for them? It got downright eldritch last episode. So wait, you're saying that President Kinsinski has never opened a book? That sounds like gossip. I'm still on a kick about the Pale. Tell me.
The two phenomena are actually deeply intertwined.
The Pale and communism?
Many inframaterialists believe that Pale is actually a manifestation of nostalgia and historical inertia.
That came up in the book, didn't it?
Those same theorists have hypothesized that revolution may in fact create a counterforce that prevents the Pale from expanding.
Wait, so you need to revolution again to maintain your hold on reality? Whenever I start thinking of the Pale less in an eldritch fog surrounding reality as you know it, and more as some kind of metaphor for your life and your relationship with death, it makes sense so far. It makes sense every time, and I keep being surprised.
Now the breeze has subsided. All is still except for the last bits of steam rising from the coffee pot.
Heat it up again, why don't you? I'm still here.
Well, on that note, I think we can call it an evening.
Well, it did get really close to midnight, and I dragged my co-worker, who I'm calling my best friend, out here.
Yes. One of our better discussions lately, on the whole.
Is that it? Have I outgrown your communism club already?
What do you mean, is that it? You've done the reading, we talked about it. What more do you expect from a reading group?
What if I have more questions, you knowledgeable boys?
Well, you could always ask, I guess.
As it creeps closer to your midnight and mine as well.
We probably won't get a better chance. Honestly.
Chance to...
But it's getting late, so maybe pick the most important question.
Heroic rhetoric. You did all the reading. You showed it the rifle, but rhetoric is not that high. I did find out more about the Pale. So even though the skill cap has been raised, I guess I'll pause before the irreversible red check for a second. Weirdo had appeared on the East Coast time. My condolences. They're saying if you think reality is boring, you're not practicing enough extreme sports. Right? Look at these communists on the couch. What they need to succeed at their communism is extreme sports. They haven't seen it yet. Harry can tell them. Then you'll think it's boring and scary. Times I should have finished a sentence. So we go through these, the 12 a.m.s, the school tomorrow. My God, the school tomorrow, school happening right now. Everybody sleep at a reasonable time. I don't know. There's time being an illusion. And talk of metaphors. There's Hijinks Arcade saying revolution, hope that the world and the people can be better. Breaking down the barriers, what will hold back the Pale, and also love and hypnotic dance music. You know, normally I wouldn't put any weight behind that connection. I don't know, hypnotic dance music and literally holding back their equivalent of a heat death of the universe. Except they can touch it, and that's their Pale, and I'm still not over that. And yet, because that dance club was set up in the spooky church, it connects to me. It makes sense to me. There's saying this one is good either way. Ooh, okay, whether you succeed or fail, but maybe still try to succeed. You can pick other things first. You can put your pants on. You could choose not to ask any questions, but why would you do that? The moral is pants, apply them you must. God, it's at 28 right now. And if I put on the moralist pants, do my odds go down? No, I'll ask the other questions first then. At this midnight, what should I ask? Kim?
Detective, how should I know what questions you have about communism?
I don't know, I thought maybe you were in a sleep-deprived fugue state, and maybe, like, you absorbed some stuff in this thing I dragged you to. Anyway, so if I think about it for a minute...
Come on. We have things to do in the morning.
Everyone's saying we have things to do in the morning. Well, what if we only had things to do tonight, right now, forever? Okay, so... Skill caps. I already learned about the pail. That was basically what I wanted to use conceptualization for. And this is rhetoric. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna get it. But we could have 3 of them. We could have 3... color yellow. We could have 3 entire rhetoric. It doesn't let me quick save, and it's good. It's good. You can't do it on everything. I tried to raise those odds.
The question you mean to ask
First try.
and incredibly simple.
First try. What's up, rhetoric? Thank you. I believed in you.
Take a deep breath. Best to go one piece at a time.
One piece. If the whole theory is what we're meant to believe is completely unfalsifiable, or if we can't even agree whether communism is about plasm or psychology or beans, or if we can't escape the doom that's coming. Okay, 3 approaches. The first one seems to almost start rejecting communism altogether. Is that what I came this far for? I thought you were gonna start an entire revolution with just the grease in your ass. Well, and they honestly do lose me, even though the second option seems less negative. A little bit. But it's about agreement. Okay, I guess I want them to agree. Even if they lose me every time they start talking about plasm, psychology, and beans. Get me somewhere. Agree with something.
The young man waits patiently for you to finish.
And the rest of the world conspires to invade and massacre us when we dare to stand up for our beliefs. And whenever we do, it just devolves into a corrupt farce, and we waste all our time arguing over who's secretly a liberal or not. Yeah, the first option seems strongest. The rest of the world conspires to invade and massacre when you stand up for your beliefs.
Yes?
Well, I'm as fascinated as you are. Where is this going?
Say it.
Don't say that. What's the point?
The young man considers your words for a minute.
Well, you're going all in on this, right? You've got to have an answer.
You're witnessing his ironic armor melt before you. This is his true self you're seeing now. He's thinking about someone.
Who's he thinking about? And if I click this option from empathy, do I blab? Do I ask him? Do I interrupt his train of thought? Or do I know intuitively somehow?
Hard to say. Someone dear to him.
Dear to him, huh?
The theorist Puncher and Watman, not inframaterialists, but theorists nonetheless, say that communism is a secular version of Pericanasian theology, that it replaces faith in the divine with faith in humanity's future.
Now, for a sentence that had Pericanasian theology in the middle of it, that got surprisingly clear to understand at the end of it.
I have to say, I've never entirely understood what they mean, but I think maybe the answer is in there.
Why?
Somewhere.
Why is that the part that you understand the least, and I, apparently out here, understand the most? Yet replace faith in the divine with faith in humanity's future. Isn't that what I've been thinking about since I was 13 that if you had to come up with a system of morality separate from all of that flawed stuff that's failed you all before, just something new, something that could work, then maybe it would have to be based on loving other people and wanting others to experience that as a human species for 10,000, 100,000, a million more years. So you're saying communism is some kind of religion? I don't know if that's what he's saying. But what if you don't believe there is a future? Well, I've been trying to get you to believe that there is, but what if humanity keeps letting us down? I don't want to box it into some kind of religion, but I want to see if he would say that it could, what it is in relation to it.
Only in this very specific sense. Communism doesn't dangle any promises of eternal bliss or reward. The only promise it offers is that the future can be better than the past, if we're willing to work and fight and die for it.
I wondered which parts Hijinks Arcade would make me pick up on what you picked up on, which is that this game it knows how to make fun of communism because it was probably it was written by communists in that sort of practical, heartbroken already kind of way, putting yourself back together kind of way. So ask, what if humanity keeps letting us down? Say something to me about that, Stepan.
Nobody said fulfilling the proletariat's historic role would be easy. It demands great faith with no promise of tangible reward. But that doesn't mean we can simply give up.
I guess I personally find it easier to believe in things when I have love in my life, and not everyone has it. So we can't simply give up, even when they ignore us, even when they laugh at us, even when they shoot at us. Well, the first options have been pretty strong sometimes. Let's go with being ignored, because once the guns are put down, and once you don't know where to go from there, and once you're just finding out who you are in an abandoned, crumbling building with 2 college students and your partner in policing, what if they ignore us?
Even then.
Sure.
Mazov says it's the arrogance of capital that will be its ultimate undoing. It does not believe it can fail, which is why it must fail.
Every time I look at the news cycle, it feels like there's signs of cracks giving way into something else. But I don't know if it'll be better. I guess the point is that you have to try.
So young. So unbearably young.
Volition. I'll look back at the chat for a second. We got some cheers about the good check to get us here. We found the One Piece and its communism. You are a good luck charm, perhaps. And don't wear each other like a necklace in there. You're saying this is one of my favorite moments in the game, though. Actually, really profound and a good climax to the communism quest. That's one of the only downsides of playing this whenever I get time, whenever I'm just having a breath in between being busy. It feels like it just started. My sense of time is warped. A conclusion, huh? You're saying, is there a way to lose in this game? Earlier I could have shot a child, and then I think it is game over if you do that. There's a lot of other things to do too. I don't know if I'm set up for a mercenary tribunal of extrajudicial executions that we are creeping toward. Cosmozoan saying, empires don't tend to last that long, all things considered. It doesn't make it any less stomach-turning to maybe be in the end of one and not know what it looks like on the other side, but I guess that's why people assert what it looks like on the other side. You're saying this is the actual profound moment. This has been building towards, though, all the pessimistic irony, communism is hope that a better future for marginalized people and the lower classes does exist. It does hurt to, I don't know, have any awareness of a little bit of the theory of the ideals versus the people, and the corruption that can get in the way of making a future. There's talk of time being an illusion, you get the child murder ending, and Rome became Italy, and Rome was rough. You know, if the world becomes Italy, specifically Italy, after every terrifying thing that happens on the news, Italy is not so bad. Mamma mia.
Why do you see the two of them with their backs against a bullet-pop wall all of a sudden?
Half-light.
Their faces blurred, yet frozen as though in ambrotype. You were never that young, were you?
They're not up against a firing squad yet. And you're the police. Could you save them or something?
I guess you could say we believe it because it's impossible. It's our way of saying we refuse to accept that the world has to remain. Like this.
If you say so. How would I describe the world? Broken, unfinished, you're thinking about someone, aren't you? Well, I want to know if you're thinking about someone, but sometimes if I start at the top of the list, they let me continue on. I'll call it broken then. Even if that has a fascist undertone.
Yes, that's a good way to think of it. Broken, but not irreparable.
Okay. I'll let the fascist undertone go and just think of it in terms of repair, in terms of acknowledging what you can do better. It's a nice thought, or I don't know if I believe it. Hey, I booted you up all amnesia-like to say things like, that's a nice thought. What if the world isn't broken?
A thought can be a very powerful thing. That's the whole idea of inframaterialism.
The fact that they've written these political quests, but also incorporated the physical material of the world building, the pale surrounding every isola. It's fascinating to no end.
His words aren't really directed at you. He's wrestling with himself now.
Well, baby, I'm the amnesia cop, and I came in here to give you a crisis.
Esteban, it's getting pretty late.
Oh, you know it. You guys complete your Duolingo streak yet? Get on it.
You're right. We should clean this up and get going.
Yeah.
Of course, the matchboxes. You'd very nearly forgotten to ask about them. Now, maybe your last chance.
There really are just 2 meetings of Communism Club, huh? Yeah, we'll ask about it. The matchboxes. You were trying to make the tower from Nilsson's journals.
So you really did read all the way to the end.
You know it.
Uli and I were trying to see whether there was enough plasm between the two of us to hold up a few matchboxes.
Oh.
Saying it out loud makes him realize how foolish it sounds.
Don't think that you're foolish. It disturbs the plasm, I think.
It was just a little informal experiment. No reason to take it too seriously.
It's the first time I've stayed up long enough in this game to see the clock strike 0. You could say we should try again, all of us. Huh. For some reason, I think I had seen a screenshot of all of them crouched together on this very floor, but I think I thought that it was them playing a board game or something, which still might be an option. I don't know. We should try again.
The young man looks at you a moment, then at his companion.
Yes.
What could it hurt? All right, let's give it another go.
We're all together. Revolution.
You know what? I'll sit this one out.
I know, it's
I don't
literally
think you want
midnight.
my skeptical materialism interfering.
No, Kim. Don't even project vibes on it if you don't mind.
Before long, a modest tower begins to rise from the pile of matchboxes.
Ooh. Ooh, don't mess up your knees. Don't mess up your knees sitting like that.
Easy, Uli.
I'm tense. I'm a little bit tense. As Doomzilla saying, is today a Magma Link later? You caught me in gamer mode. Just locked into a game. See you on Tuesday for drawing. There's... God, what did I miss in the chat? You're saying that Romans were doing laundry while watching the end of the Empire? That's... I'll probably position myself that way in my thoughts more often now that you say it. You're saying at least it's not France. There's talk of equality, getting along could become Dalmatia. Ooh, gets historical in there. Become Puppy Girl? Did we become Puppy Girl for a second in the chat? Ooh. Hijinks Arcade is saying, so when I said that despite how sad this game can get, it's one of the most hopeful stories I've ever experienced. This is one of those hopeful moments, by the way, and why the communism quest is the thematically most powerful. Look at him, putting together something fragile, all together, held up by belief. You're saying this is Megama, it has story mode now? You're messing with people. The communism thought plasm is here with us. Kim keeping his skepticism at a respectful distance. And there's talk of capitalism being bad for the arteries and even worse for the knees. Now there is a mental image. I don't know how hoeing is bad for your arteries. Here's...
It's holding. It's holding.
Your voice sounds so fragile in there.
For the moment.
Come on, how about every moment? How about it?
The higher the tower goes, the quieter the room seems to become. Aside from the occasional comment, the three of you are completely absorbed by the task.
That's a really tall tower of matchboxes only? And none of you are even an engineering student. I've kept Kim Kitsuragi uninterested in communism here for a full hour. I'm so sorry, homie. It's midnight.
Alright, you go next, Stepan.
Is this communism or Jenga? The metaphors, they just keep building on each other, don't they?
The young man pushes back his shirt sleeves, revealing the pale flesh of his forearms.
I guess... You see now? I mean, if you don't believe in communication in this, then you believe in nothing.
Is it? He's holding. He's holding.
I'm about to throw up. Why is this... What? Why?
Yes, this is the closest we've ever gotten.
Well, bet you're happy you let me in your club now.
It's almost exactly as Nielsen's sketch imagined, a physical manifestation of the dialectical spiral of history.
And then the pause between that one and the last one was 3 minutes. They went between... Let's let's move this around for it. God, no, that's the wrong... That's... We went between this and, like, a tower that was, like, I don't know, much shorter in 3 minutes. They really hustled on it. Wow, okay.
All right, gendarme. Your turn.
I know saying I'm gonna throw up isn't helping anything.
You've got this. Theories aside, they're only matchboxes.
Is it time to put the theories aside when they are clearly holding this up? I don't know.
Even the lieutenant is watching intently now.
I'm gonna pass out, hopefully in the opposite direction of the matchboxes. You can say this is tall enough, better not to risk it. You can proceed, you cannot proceed. It's not just a Jenga tower. They got me invested in it because it clearly represents the hope for a better future that you all collaborate toward together through your philosophy. No, I'm invested in your house of cards like that now. Okay, okay. You could say this is tall enough, better not to risk it. I mean, as a pragmatist, then I would want to go that way. But that's not how we got this far. God, if there's a right answer, then I would want there to be a right answer. Sure, I look at the chat for a second to see if any of that alleviates my feeling. My gosh, he's saying we're doing the tower and it's freaking beautiful, but so unstable, like it could fall over at any moment. There's talk of matchbox towers. I do that every day. It's a good hobby. My record is 50 miles. Yeah, what if I could just soar past the metaphor? They've built something so beautiful together, though. If I choose the first option, it comes from a deep pragmatist urge to say that if this is a metaphor, then getting almost there should be worth something, should be worth everything. But option 2, where you proceed and maybe it all collapses, that sort of symbolizes to me that you don't really know when you've done all you can. You don't really know if you literally can't take that last step toward completion, if it's doomed to collapse. Ghost of Mazov, give me strength. You could just take a deep breath, and then instead of ghost, instead of making a religion of it, it's just you and you and you, all three of you, and what you've done with your hands and some matchboxes. God, I have a knot in my stomach. I want to see all of these. Ghost of Mazov, give me strength.
It's...
Don't talk like that. I know what's coming next if you talk like that.
My god. Is he really holding?
I'm too arrogant to know what's coming next when you talk like that. What? Holy fuck.
It is.
At the end of one of these ellipses, we're gonna let go of the breath, and we're gonna see a pile of... Don't make me cry. A pile of matches on the floor. It's been a long day for me, hasn't it? Come on. If you're holding out on me, and it really doesn't hold.
There, in the middle of the floor, the winding spire quivers with an improbable energy.
What is this?
This is impossible, right? There's no way it's really staying up like that.
I'm sorry if you think that that's a almost 1 a.m. hallucination, Kim Kitsuragi, but we did this despite your skeptical eyes looking at it. I nearly died. Okay.
But it is.
Oh my stars.
For a long moment, no one says a word. Even the lieutenant is transfixed.
This feels like about as good as if I had found the cryptozoologist's little cryptid, little Bigfoot, little bug. I kind of wanted that to happen too, and didn't expect that to happen, and then here's a metaphor for communism standing on its own for however long. Oh, you're scaring me with those ellipses, signifying the passage of time. Let me just leave the room in a way that makes no vibrations. Something, I don't know. So many ellipses. Yeah. What can you say? You can't say anything.
A low-pressure system is gathering itself over the bay. It's begun to tug violently at the tarpaulins.
You can just be blown over by the wind. Yeah, man, I don't want to say anything either.
And there it goes.
Yeah, you can't help but keel over a little bit. That's a full 40 minutes or an hour. I feel weird. I feel weird about it. We looked at that. We all saw that. 3 believers and a skeptic walk into a system of belief. What do I read in the chat? A future of equality and overthrowing the people in power. It's a nice thought, but it requires cooperation. There's YouTubers so dick with some holy vocabulary. You shouldn't mean language. Do not fucking swear. Sometimes there's a little in there. The language emboldened by the war paint, one might say. You're saying the cleanup must be atrocious. I didn't even see where they were hiding all of these. For all I know, each individual student communist pulled a full matchbox directly out of his mouth, sliding it out like eating a sandwich backwards. I didn't see where these were in the room. So that was weird. That was miraculous. If I can only say one, I'll say miraculous.
No. It was exactly what's supposed to happen. We should treat it that way.
Healed morale. Yeah.
We should probably clean up.
Oh no, man, I'm new to the club. I think you guys should probably clean up. Oh, it only took a minute? Oh, you just kicked it to the side. Alright.
Well, I think we're probably finished here, Detective.
On the one hand, I'm mostly sorry for keeping you up, my literal professional coworker. On the other hand, you see that shit just now? I guess we're off.
Wait a minute. If you don't mind.
How could I mind after we've been through this together?
We wanted to get your opinion on something. A few little changes we've been thinking about.
You know me. My opinions matter. What kind of changes you want to run by me?
Nothing too major, I think. We were talking potentially about relaxing some parts of our admissions process.
That is what belief in humanity's future entails. It entails the involvement of more humanity, Stiban. Alright, so what do I say to that? We could say, it probably would help if you didn't make people go through a whole interview to join. Maybe you should ditch the passphrases, and meet in a coffee house. Nah. Suspicious people could look for you, could find you. Not to say that I'm suspicious. Have you considered changing up the reading list, or keep things as they are? I mean, I don't think you need the whole entire interview. What do you think? You didn't say anything much.
That's interesting. I thought people loved group interviews.
What? Ooh, say that one again, Echo Maker. People love group interviews.
I thought so too, but perhaps we overdid it. Just a little.
Who gave you that impression? Both of you. At the same time, that impression?
There was another thing. We were also debating putting up some posters around town.
Oh, well, that would just be lovely. And you could have Cindy. You could commission Cindy.
Though some of us maintain that advertising is an unacceptably bourgeois tactic.
The way you're saying some of us, and by which you mean you. But yeah, Cindy could help with it. Posters are great. Who doesn't like posters? Or posters are pretty bourgeoisie. Cindy can help. Come on. Come on.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I guess no one could accuse Cindy of having a bourgeois aesthetic.
Yes. Absolutely.
Plus, I've got the perfect place in mind. Put some
Where?
more coffee on, Uli.
Oh.
We've got a long night ahead of us. We should probably get Cindy in here too.
You college students don't sleep at the right hours, do you?
Oh, and gendarme.
Feels good
One
when you call
last
me
thing.
that.
About that question you asked earlier. It reminded me of a certain poem that you might appreciate.
I'm in the business of appreciating poems.
So he has read something besides his books of abstruse theory.
Lay it on me.
It was written by a young communard who was killed on the barricades during the coalition landings. The story goes that he wrote it on the last night of his life, keeping watch from the barricades in the middle of the night. I don't have the whole thing committed to memory, but there's a line in it I think about sometimes.
The way that he's not, I don't know, handing over a piece of paper, but a piece of memory, for some reason, and I know there's nothing to imply this, but it made me think that that poem got lost directly from a young communard's head through the pale and just floated into your mind, remembering someone else's memories. What's the line? Let me know.
In dark times, should the stars also go out?
There's a lot of good writing in this game, isn't there? And by a lot, I mean all of it.
Anyway, good night to you.
Oh, it's some kind of night. I'll call it a good one. There's more words for it besides good, but that too. The words are good also. 8 cups a day is perfectly healthy. Now the C in communism stands for coffee. The O as well, I guess. There's Kai with the finished homework. Hey, clapping you on. Congratulations. I don't think that they would have anything else to say to us.
The gendarme returns. What do you need?
It's a great question. But I guess I'll know where you are when I know where you are. They're saying coffee shops are historically the popular places to start revolutions, right? It's the opposite of alcoholism, I think. Having coffee, thinking clearly. And for some, it would be a bit like ADHD medication.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Well, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the posters, but they will tell you themselves. Ooh, that was a bit of a glitch. Did I get the autosave? I did hear the thing. There's saying my internet dropped out, but I saw the completed matchbox tower. Cool, huh? I didn't think the matchbox tower of all things would almost make me cry, but so it goes. Wow. I haven't actually walked around close to 1 a.m. game time. I have not done that before. Okay, I don't know what exactly I wanted to use all of the skill points
Just
for.
an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Was I able to do a little bit more conceptualization, if I may?
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Absolutely unbearable. Absolutely unbearable. Nothing improves my odds on this check. You can have logic. You could have virtual calculus if you wanted. Anything at all. You could have +2 to visual calculus and conceptualization. Why not? Okay, and that's part of the check. Can anything allow me to know what this wall art is that's been bugging me the entire time? I should probably put on the shorts. I was in the moralist pants all this time? My god. Getting some, I don't know, booty shorts. That is regular jeans. I cry every time.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
It's open again, but I can't break my heart like that. Not so soon. Not so soon. There's talk of every human on Earth being allergic to interviews as I catch up on the chat. The overwhelming dread I felt at 8 years old, learning that the sun is going to burn up in a few billion years. Right? Just these creeping things you can't do anything about. Apparently, I learned this last episode, but they are surrounded by some fundamental aspect of their universe that is expanding and threatening to wink everything out. That's what the Pale was all this time. It's something that they don't know how to fight like the expansion of the sun, except they can see it and travel through it sometimes and come out psychologically disturbed on the other side of one of those travels. My goodness, is everyone out here at such a late hour? Sweet Lord, out here. Guy with the 12:44 a.m. Appreciation of the completion of the towers back here. Cindy helping them with the posters for their communism club. It's such a cute idea as well. She's mean, but she likes them. And there's Cindy saying, I will go visit the inner plane now. I'll leave you mortals in the flesh world. My goodness. Goodbye to you, though you probably are gone already. They're saying, okay, you're telling me that's the end of the communist quest. One of the most beautiful and thematically powerful moments in the game, I think. Well, no wonder it almost made me cry then. Even as I tried to fight the feeling, telling myself it's a tower. It wasn't just a tower, of course. There's talk of the game being appropriately Cthulhu. Yeah, it's it threw me for the loop, absolutely. Just, I don't know, starting to think about what if you could touch a force of the universe like that. And the character that explained it to Harry, who's actually in a little boat right on over there. The character who explained it to Harry. She talked about it, I mean, just like it's death, just like it's absolutely any other thing. And she was telling it to an amnesiac for the first time. Do you think I should send her away? I know I have that option. I don't know if I'll... Like, I know there's more Everard
You're
dialogue
back.
if I do.
Good. What can I help you with at this late hour?
I don't know. Why isn't anyone asleep? It's nuts. How thematic. There's Hijinks Arcade saying it's actually the fact that the Matchbox Tower actually held even for a moment. It shows that a better future is at least possible to achieve. Right? It's just... I took the message as being it's within somebody's lifetime. And just because it could collapse right after, it doesn't make the lifetimes that it benefited any less worth fighting for. Joyce, don't you ever sleep?
Matter of fact, I don't.
Ah, is that because of the pail? You can say, why is that, or it's better not to poke further. That's good. This way you can answer me some questions. No, my questions are, why is that?
I have a medical condition of my own. Nothing unusual, though. I'm old, you see.
I can say, I think I have that too. The old, or, no you're not, you look young. Either option amuses me greatly. Maybe I have that too.
Don't worry. It's curable. With questions. Ask me some. It'll help pass this night.
I'm seriously considering sending her away before day 6. Okay, if I want to, and I'm not sure if I do, then I should at least review which dialogue option that is in. I've been dealing with Everard.
Oh?
You can say he helped me find my gun. Well, you know what? That is new and that is true.
Stupendous. I didn't think he'd pull through.
You can say, check it out, pull out your gun. Or, no need to flash my gun around. Let's just say I have it now. Thank God. They do still say thank God in here. Or wait, is Harry the only one to... I'm not completely clear on the state of whatever religions they've got. You know, let's be a little sane sometimes. Although I'm sure she would react fine to the person with a mental break who lost the gun waving around the... Oh, I'll see what that is another time. We don't wave it around today.
Thank God. And indeed, Mr. Everard as well. In this investigation, one may have use for a firearm. You wouldn't want to get caught with your pants down.
Use for a firearm. I guess so. And then hijinks arcade. Wait, are you referring to the part where he can get stuck in a loop of Mr. Everett, help me find my gun? Honestly, terrifying sort of a clip. I think you did send that clip. There's ooh. Talk of taking Joyce on a carbon date. You know, what a time to have. Okay, you're saying, wait, no, that's when he's still helping you find it. Okay, I guess that's it then. I feel assured that at 1 in the morning I can send her on her way. Not on a carbon date together, but alone.
A takeover?
It's a takeover. Yeah, it's not a strike. You aren't being let in because there's nothing to negotiate. The union is taking the terminal. He's told me in his own words he's taking it. He'll also use the drug trade to finance the harbor. I don't know, the first one is enough information. The second one she would probably speculate on her own. Yeah, it's a takeover.
If they're taking it...
She looks toward the colorful mountain of crates like toy blocks rising above Martinez.
Green livery, changing into red, blot by blot.
By blot. Can you still see the colors at this hour of night?
Like a cancer of the blood, metastasizing.
Conceptualization? Were you always so poetic, hi?
Then we're talking about a war. Everett needs to let me into the harbor at once. We need to talk about this.
Oh dear. Dear. So he's ready for a war, though. They all are. Or I could ask him to let you in. No, I've talked to Everett. He doesn't have a shred of respect in his body for her. He's ready for a war.
They most certainly are not. Cornell has 1,000 men on their payroll. The next batch will be a platoon of 20 men and a gunship.
That's painful. Well, can I ask him to let you in with that information?
I've seen the Union's forces. They are better organized than these mercenaries. They also have the support of the people of Relation West.
Oh, Kim backing the locals, huh?
It will take more than Cornell to wipe them out. Wild Pines will need to send more and better equipped men. Make no mistake, ma'am. I am sure you have the money. The question is, how many years and how many lives are you willing to sacrifice?
Well, Kim, that was a very measured, middle-of-the-road response. Very practical, very lives-oriented. All right.
What do you suggest I do?
What do I suggest you do? I didn't know how much would be in here. There's talk of needing pants and a firearm. As I catch up on the chat, there's talk of Joyce being rich, evil, and hot. Yes, as we decide what advice to give her. Let's read through those options then. First, will this affect your decision-making process? I guess I would want to know. Are my words just a drop in the bucket? Would it not spill anything over whatsoever? It's not the RCM's job to make these decisions. We're not clicking on that one. I'm a meddler. The workers should have the harbor. Cut off the snake's head. Everard's pushing all this. Or it's a bluff. Call it, have them open fire, and see how long they last. My stomach turned. We've talked to them. We know it's not a bluff. Bring in everything you have and wipe them from the face of the earth. They just get more and more stomach turning as I read through them, don't they? You can look at your wrist and say, it's the apocalypse o'clock. Time to commence the gloaming. That's funny sometimes. I'm just disgusted with you right now, Apocalypse Cop. You can say, I wish there was a disco option. Okay, first, will this affect your decision-making process?
Everything affects the decision-making process, Detective.
Well, I'm glad you're taking it so seriously, Joyce.
Officer?
He's just uncertain, not even angry.
For once, I don't seem to know what the right thing to do is.
Yeah, I mean, I have chills. Your options, Kim, they seem to lean toward just minimizing bodies. You can say the workers should have the harbor. You could say assassinate Everard. He literally does good. He's a snake, but he's not the snake's head. He's a snake full of beautiful medicines and resources for his people. You could say, I wish there's a disco option. Let's believe in something. The workers should have the harbor.
Do you think it's within my authority to give it to them? Do you think I can control the board and the shell-shocked mercenaries they've sent?
No. What are you gonna do?
What will I do?
Her arms fall to her sides. Her spine relaxes.
Did I ever tell you how they discovered this Isola? During our reality lowdown?
Well, the reality lowdown was just recently, right? This very same night. So, do I say, no, ma'am? You said you would one day. You said I'm uneducated, remember? Sure, it's only been a second, remember? I'm uneducated.
Typically arrogant of me. Absent-minded as well. Inter-Islary travel has left holes in my consciousness, I'm afraid.
What exposure to the pale has us left with? Do we have time? Tell me we have time.
We do for this, Lieutenant Refrater.
I did think I was gonna let Lieutenant Kitsuragi sleep after all of this, but apparently I kept him up for yet more work at 1 a.m. What's up?
His arm rises for a second, as if he's about to put it on your shoulder. He doesn't, but the intention was there.
Are there moves I could have made earlier in the game to get a hand on the shoulder privileges? Anything?
It may be the only break we've ever caught as a species. The last one for 400 years.
400 years, why?
The nations who colonized this Isola called theirs Muindi, the world. It was all they knew, all they thought would be. That there would be something more was a gamble, akin to another world, or life after death.
And?
The Pale was thought to be impregnable, perpetual. Irene la Navigateur, the Queen of Suren, sent 8 expeditions, one after the other, into the mass at the edge of the world. 5 of the crews did not return. 2 did, but had lost their minds.
And the only thing you can ask to that is 8? Is that a normal number? And, well, since you're asking, now I'm curious too. I wouldn't have been, but now I am. Is 8 normal?
It was anything but normal. There was no precedent. People thought she was punishing the admirals, or had gone mad, or both.
Well, that's just a girl boss for you.
Until after years of trial and error, and the development of a strict psychological regime imitating the creation process of poetry.
Every single part about the Pale that I learned more about, there's chills within it. Now I'm really curious what in the world this looks like when you don't know about the Pale. This part of the dialogue tree.
Called Volta do Mar, or Return from the Sea.
Volta do Mar. Conceptualization, I'm glad to have you.
The 8th expedition returned sane and intact. They told of a new continent of matter. They told the Queen and her counselor, Dolores
Matter
Day,
versus Pale.
that the Pale had begun to condense, day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute.
Condense sounds to me as if you made it through believing in it. River appeared to say, just woke up about to start my day. Take care. Take care. I'm in some kind of eldritch history of a world.
Slowly raining down until it formed a vast ocean.
Well, you describe it like poetry too.
The air is cold and scented with petrichor.
We're in that. We're at the end of that story of exploration and madness. We live in it. It's all we've known.
There are rain circles on water all around. Humidity crawls up your back like a piano trill.
What a good description. You can put your hand in the rain. Well, that's what we've got a coat for.
So does the lieutenant. His mouth is slightly open as he looks to the sky.
It feels appropriate to do this at an hour past their midnight. Suddenly, you could have done this in the morning. And yet, right after the communism tower feels psychologically right for it.
The droplets feel warm, like spring rain.
Was it this ocean?
The phenomenon has never again been encountered. For a time, the crew thought they were experiencing a hallucination. The mass hand proclaimed, Lancielinde, Lancielinde, the signal to wake up.
Wake up. That's one way to describe 400-year-old travel through the Pale.
But they could not. They were sane and conscious, as islands began to appear on the horizon. There are 78,000 uninhabited islands in the Insulindian archipelago, officer. The freckled face of God.
As if they condensed it out of reality, as if God were a collaboration of human consciousness.
You've thought it a million times.
Have we? I would love to be in on that conceptualization. Gosh, catch up on the chat just a little. There's talk of war. There's talk of not being hot. Ugh. There's talk of putting a pin in Joyce. There's saying that Everard has his own weird stuff going on, but at least he actually fucking cares about other people, unlike Joyce. This capitalist. And even Kim Kitsuragi knows how important this conversation is. There was a moment of cannot impregnate the Pale. Not with that attitude. You know what the eldritch fog consuming the world needs? Bit of a breeding king, maybe. Maybe. You're gonna stick your junk into the void? Why are you telling me this thing? Oh, you're saying God is a hive creature made up of all the wills and whim of God. We're in something, all right. Afterlife, death. After death, life again. After the world, the Pale. After the Pale, the world again. I waited too long to read that part out loud, didn't I? It's supposed to be one after the other. You've thought it a million times. After life, death. After death, life again. After the world, the Pale. After the Pale, the world again. Do you have some awareness of the afterlife through the Pale, Harry Dubois? Through your mind, through this cold rain. Say it.
A total shift in human comprehension of reality. On the second day, a great skua was shot down above the flagship Lysergique. The bird was preserved and brought back, along with pollen.
Oh, is that the significance of having a preserved bird as decoration? I thought it was just kitsch in that little bar we woke up in.
4 years later, the Queen's Counsellor was proclaimed Her Innocence Dolores Day, the elected world spirit.
Elected
The age of
world
humanism,
spirit.
Internationalism and parliamentary rule followed. We were high.
So Dolores Day, the moralist of all moralists, elected as this deific figure that you have a church about. So if I go through the Pale onto one of these worlds that you've originated from, through this fog, there's other spirits, other world spirits, other people. Were they also elected? How miraculous. So it's left us here, or the great school was the first bird they saw, and this was the last break we got. I want to ask about the bird if I can't ask him anything else.
The first living autonomous organism. Proof of reality. It's the symbol of Insulinde, detective. The coat of arms of the suzerain and the wings on the crest of the commune.
And they shot it. They did shoot it. So that leaves us here.
On Caillou. The Pebble.
Bald
the largest of the
cartoon boy.
fertile uninhabited islands of the northeast Insulindian archipelago. 4 centuries and 2 revolutions later.
Any story that gives me a richer picture of this is welcome. It can't all be out of the copyright can't all be out of the hands of the original writers. Not every single part of it. Tell me it's not. This is the last break we got.
The nations of Mundi proceeded to discover 5 more Isolae. Or they discovered us. All in the rush of the great inter-Islary reconnection.
Reconnection. Because there was evidence of connection before that, or...
But these others weren't uninhabited. We had to kill people there.
Had to.
Wipe out indigenous populations. Gunboat economies. Or they came to do the same for us. Or had done to each other. But here...
You make it sound so peaceful here.
There was no one but the Skua, the Liliat Saya, and the Blood Beach, and the River Esperance. It was the new world. The Mondials used it to amass the greatest concentration of wealth mankind has ever seen. Revachol, the suzerain.
Past 400 years, huh? Wealth and loss and now... technology. What happened?
Revolution. Poverty. And the mercurial rise of capitalism.
I keep wanting to let it all sink in somehow. It's so much. What will you do?
I will take your advice, Lieutenant Chiefrater. I will surrender Terminal B to the Union.
I thought it wasn't within your means. I'm still headed toward a mercenary tribunal, right? That was their personal bone to pick. They're not in your power. They're not in mine. Is it within your means?
She puts her hand in the rain. She's silent for a second.
Tell me.
We will see.
Tell me.
Ma'am, this may well unravel property law this side of the river. If that occurs, we may never see the end of this kind of confrontation. The next time there will be 2 strikes, then 4, then 100.
You're saying that the moralists have to do a show of strength with their company. They have to kill these Union folk. Good, honest, salt-of-the-earth people working for a living with a little bit of drug trade on the side. They have to murder so many of them to maintain the status quo so there won't be another strike. Well, Kim, we just got back from a communism meeting. Do you expect me not to point us toward worker solidarity?
What happens will happen.
Well, you might save a life or two, Joyce Messier.
The age of capital has only begun. I will talk to my employers in person. We will amputate and cauterize Martinez. If you handle the situation on the ground.
I'll try. Every time I think of what's to come in this game, I'm so scared out here. But you're going now? 1 a.m.? I'm glad I talked to you then.
Yes, Mr. Clare has a 2-month head start. I can't let it grow any bigger. And I've exhausted all my options from here.
It's a good thing you don't sleep then. Or don't need to sleep. Even checks. I succeeded the last one. This one's gonna hurt me, isn't it? Well, I want to see some things on another save, another route, another everything. We click the red check, because she's going anyway.
There are employers. She's a member of the board. Probably a partner.
Okay. I felt failure, cold creeping down my back. It's success, though. Success. You are Wild Pines. You are the Wild Pines. There are no employers. and Cindy hurled verbal abuse at you a couple of goddamn days, didn't she?
You are the citizens' militia. There are no superiors.
What? Of course I have superiors, is what I could say. Or you could say I am and just not about it. I mean, there's sort of superiors. He's refused a promotion, true. But no, this is the guy on the ground. That, with a gun, makes him judge, jury, and executioner in matters of life and death. So, Joyce, are you the guy on the ground? Elaborate.
That's right, detective. And next time, you should confer with them before you go setting events in motion.
Not what I wanted to hear, but I love you. I appreciate you, Kim Kitsuragi.
Despite his words, he's not really sure whether to be annoyed with you or not.
You know we have to make decisions like this anyway.
Events are already in motion. Whether your actions accelerated or momentarily retarded their progress, even the lieutenant cannot really say.
I guess so. Drop in the bucket, isn't it? We can say even after all this time I still don't really understand who you are or what your angle is. Well, I wanted to say that I got the vibes or something, that I sort of understood her. Or we could say, too, I answer for my own actions. I don't hide behind some faceless organization. If I only get to choose one, I'll choose that. Why not accuse her of hiding a little?
Here I am. I am the face, and I'm here to answer. Rejoice Layton.
Huh. Does it let me see any other dialogues of it? Probably not.
Yes, Mr. Clare has a 2-month head start.
We let her
Keep
go.
the peace, and I will keep my end of the bargain.
It's a piece. It's a peacetime, like a greased pig. I'll try to keep it. I see it slipping out of my grasp. I'll try.
How far along is Cronell's investigation?
Oh,
The confrontation is imminent. They have followed in your footsteps.
followed in my footsteps. They know about Ruby. They're going to try to kill her and Classia.
As your investigation reaches a climax, so does theirs. They are your shadow. Arm yourselves. Armor yourselves.
I only have enough armor for one person. Would it be nuts to try to give it to Kim? I know he didn't want any of that.
Protect their targets. Violence may be unavoidable, but we can limit the casualties.
Gonna give the armor to Ruby, of all people. Little troublemaker that you may be, or may not be. I haven't met you yet. When will they make their move? Where?
Soon. I do not know precisely. They have cut off all communication, you see. They know I've been feeding you information.
Disastrous, stomach-turning, sickening.
One last thing, Lieutenant Dubois. I've given the matter much thought and
Good
come to this
ending.
conclusion. You're not an amnesiac. You're insane.
Well, that feels like a little bit of a love note, a sweet farewell from a friend.
I know, because I, too, am insane.
Kinship, isn't
I
it?
just hide my illness better. And I'm rich.
I had my illness better and I'm rich. You know, being insane and rich at the same time, they call that eccentric. My mama always said so. Isn't everyone a little insane? Or you're over-radiated, I could say. Or how do you keep your shit together? Or goodbye, Joyce El Messier. Goodbye, Rejoice Layton. Is that a founder of her company? Which name? I don't know which name is actually hers. Goodbye, nether creature of the forbidden swamp. Well, that matches the insanity. It could be a little bit derogatory, it could be a little bit affectionate. Start from the top. Isn't everybody a little bit insane?
No, Detective. No one's as insane as you.
Well, you're the protagonist of a game, having knowledge that no one could have. Yeah, it makes sense.
Don't worry, madame. I am very sane.
And I lean on you, baby boy. You're over-radiated, Joyce?
I'm overexposed, baby.
I know
My
it.
travels take me through the Pale dozens of times a year. I've got the longing, and I've got it bad.
Love that reaction to an encounter with the Eldritch.
She would die to return to it. The Pale, the past, anything one can return to.
You know, if it weren't for that empathy check, I might have carried the feeling of her nonchalant tone at face value. So, how do you keep your shit together?
The same strict
Ooh.
psychological regimen the 8th Admiral developed when he crossed the Pale and discovered this Isola, the Volta do Mar. It's used by inter-Islary travelers and other troubled souls, even to this day.
Makes sense, huh?
You could use a little of it yourself.
We'll keep an eye out then. I look a little bit more in the chat before I send her away. We're calling Joyce the Queen of Fence sitting up in this chat. We're calling Dolores Day the most enlightened centrist. Both sides a bad person ever, I bet. Well, this is like a founding figurehead of moralism, isn't it? That could be it. There's hating that we have to wipe out these people. The angle on it, indeed. And saying, I suppose all you can do is try to prevent as many casualties as possible. Loving the luck, and you could say you have superiors like a liar. She keeps saying my employer's to remove herself from any responsibility. Right, that little distancing third person, I'm not on the board, who, me? Kind of language. It's a little bit satisfying to get that honesty at the end of it. A little bit of commentary on the greased pigs. I'm absolutely terrified of the looming situation that I call a greased pig. A trial of all things. So we scroll back down to the bottom and we're sending her off. Sending her off. You're saying she is the Senate, basically. She is the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. Goodbye.
Watch out for yourselves.
Watch
They will
out for
strike
yourself.
soon.
It's an Imagine Dragons lyric. It's so foggy out here suddenly. So pale.
The lieutenant watches her boat grow smaller on the bay, its white sails fluttering.
I kept you up very late, Kim Kitsuragi, didn't I?
With worry in his eyes,
And my
he
East
does
Coast
not
peoples.
know if it was the right thing to do, but he doesn't say anything. You wonder what Everard has to say about this.
It's hilarious to be on a first name basis with him. No, it only feels like a... No, it is a first name basis in your head.
Slowly, the sails turn grey-blue as more oxygen gets between you.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping that there's going to be time for this logic check specifically to talk to Everard Clare in the morning, because I, out of kindness, want to take these boys to sleep. I won't start the next day if I'm going to lose the opportunity to talk to Everard Clare. But like does something urgent happen on the start of day 6, or is there still a little bit of roaming around that can be done? I hope there's roaming around. Nothing that would stop me from getting to Claire. Okay. There's a little bit of Imagine Dragons in the chat. I'm just about at the end of it. Okay, if I'm so nervous about it. We're running. Okay, this is not a knock. This is not, I don't know anything. This isn't anything. Okay, did the people go home past midnight? Oh, everyone went home. It's so empty up here. Oh, that's nuts. Measurehead is still there, you know. It's a loyal lapdog. And the girls admiring Measurehead's bod canonically still sitting there. Union logo and demand democracy. Oh, now that I raised the blue stats, there's a little bit more to notice. No, no, no. Take me back. Okay. This is a race against my own time because I still have a semi-thoughtful report to write. I just really wanted to see some more in this game. Oh my gosh, these blue stats are revealing everything now that I have a little bit of them. My god. There's so much I want to do. I have to make myself a snack out here in the real world. Whoa, hi, heck, bye, hey! Oh my gosh, we were just wondering about you. We were just like thinking about you, being like, oh, I wonder how you doing. Hope you're living. Hope animation school is going well. Cause it's been a second. How you doing, heck, bye? I mean, I'm at like the end of this episode. I've just walked into your office and nothing is there. I should have looked at the chat a second earlier. All right. Okay, so this is just now running back because I am not gonna feel right unless I end the day and put your little man to bed. Put all the little man to bed. I did just run all the way back here. So the slimy snake woman has sailed off. Okay, that was delightful to see the blue checks, I guess, in here anyway. Okay, Everett had very much gone to bed. Is there any amount of zooming out that I can do that will take me farther? They're saying, was wondering though, were you going to try to succeed at dancing with Kim? Because you can do that at any time. Honestly, with my real world time constraint getting at me as I run to Everett Claire in the rain and then run all the way back across town. Gotta do my dang homeworks. Gotta do my dang actual physical homeworks. They're saying better reports have been slapped together on less. It's like I feel like I have an idea. I may not have the words, much less the word count, much less the exact requirements of what I need to complete the assignment. I may not have any of the words written. And it's I don't know, less than 2 hours before it's due. However, I'm going for a jog with Kim in the rain. Isn't that marvelous? As we travel to the fisherman shacks, they're saying those kids never sleep, I think. I mean, what else is there to do in a town like this? Alright, that was so much Kim Kitsuragi. If this were a K-drama, you would have a cold, the flu, and everything.
It's getting late, and it's raining. Time to call it a day.
Oh, it's way past getting late. I dragged Kim's ass everywhere. All across town. Communism club. Moral decisions. Miracles. Good night, Kim.
Good night, officer. We'll meet in front of the shack in the morning.
Teleports away from me. There's Heck by saying, oh my gosh. And he's saying, you're great, a busy lad in the best way. Have you all been? having some fun, peculiar timing. After literal out-of-game months, I finally found out about the
That
Pale.
is comforting, if a bit run down. Still, you've earned a rest.
It's so eldritch, the Pale, that is. I'm still excited
The place feels
about
almost
having
like
found out
home
about
now.
it.
Quiet and dignified around you. A new life by the seaside. You're incredibly tired. The darkness and warmth come fast. You're falling asleep.
I was gonna say, sleep better be a little bit easier after a jog in the rain at 1 a.m. and emotionally harrowing stuff besides that. Building the Tower of Communism, almost having me cry. You know what? I bet there was tears in your eyes too, Harry. Why not?
It's easier this time. Drifting off, your head has found a comfortable indent in the pillow. Your legs and your torso feel like lead weights sinking to the bottom of the sea until there's suddenly light.
I have loved a lot of the description as I find out about the world building and the Pale and the Islas connected through just a vague idea of unreality. I'm still not used to the voice of the limbic system, though. Do you little whisper in my ear, okay? There has in fact been scandalous amounts of lore about the pale heg pie.
This respect. You've earned it, brother. Bask in the darkness. Let it swallow you up
Vor.
and swivel you around
Gamer chair.
while you forget everything you've managed to remember.
Disco Elysium reference. Oh, you can say I've been bad, I haven't earned this. Is this the last stream? Well, I feel like you can choose both. I don't want him to always be saying that he hasn't earned stuff. Is this the last one?
No, this is the one before that. We'll just keep
game's
cycling it for
about
you if
to
you
end.
don't mind.
It's about
As
to
long
end.
as we can. Spin it like black yarn.
I feel everything they say on my spinal cord.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
You know, your voice makes it hard to, not a knock on you. That's talented. Thank you, Darkness.
You're welcome, Harry boy. You earned it.
A deep sleep. Do you still get up at your volition time?
After centuries of darkness, the alarm rings. But what's this? You actually feel rested. There's no time to cuddle with your pillow, however, or as much as shiver from the cold. The world awaits.
If this also happens, like, I was kind of associating this with the 1 a.m. bedtime. It probably just happens regardless. I cut into his only night of sleep. It was for good reasons, but damn. Oh, that's rough. That should be sampled in the song, just volition. Go. Kai witnessing the heg pie appearance. Cosmozoan saying, meanwhile, the pale is just a really albino guy trying to eat a sandwich, and they're looking at everyone like, dude, what the fuck? Just, I can't imagine it eating anything but the world, just sort of mouth glommed around it like a sandwich, perhaps, but oh my. There's some swallowing happening. The heg pie disappearance. Ah, it was good seeing you, I say to your busy ghost. Hijinks Arcade saying, yeah, that's pretty much the game saying, yeah, you've run out of dreams. There's only one more to get somehow. You can go one more night before it hits the fan. You could theoretically see a day 7. Gosh. Well, that's it for me and my homework. This guy's saying the heg pie was the friends we made along the way. The heg pie was the limbic system we made along the way. Ah. What am I doing trying to process everything that's happened in this game a little quietly? And him touching his honor finger that's only been washed by the rain to his face. Okay. I gotta be normal after that. I gotta pretend that homework feels like it matters after that. Good night, you guys. Thanks for being here. I'm glad I got to experience Disco Elysium with you guys. Where is the end button?